Welcome back to Let's Talk About It, and welcome to yet another video. I want to talk today about the actions that the US, Europe and a couple of other countries unilaterally took against Russia. And these were not sanctioned by the United Nations at all. These were taken, as I say, unilaterally. Now, most of the sanctions were probably expected, but there's one particular sanction that was taken that has sort of made the rest of the world sit up and listen. And that was the decision to sanction Russia's central bank. Now, central banks are supposed to have sovereign immunity, but they sanctioned the central bank. And this is something that I think many countries around the world will be taking note of. It's also interesting that they also started to seize assets of Russian oligarchs. Now, they're called oligarchs when they're in Russia, but of course when they're in the US or other countries they're called businessmen or entrepreneurs. And I would also suspect that they are also looking very closely at any dollar holdings they have. Because what these countries have essentially done, led by the USA, is weaponize the dollar. Now, if you look, it's well known, and if you look up the RAND Corporation document, that America are targeting Russia and, of course, China. Now, China also have a huge amount of dollar holdings. In fact, they have holdings of treasury bonds, which are just over $1 trillion. And they also hold a huge amount of foreign dollar-denominated foreign exchange. And they will also have a lot of holdings in banks, dollar holdings in banks outside of China. Now, as we're aware, Russia had been accumulating gold and de-dollarizing to some extent, but I'm pretty sure they didn't expect sanctions on the central bank. And this was a bit of a shock to the world. And I would imagine many countries are going to be looking at that and really rethinking their holdings of US dollars. And I think it will be very interesting to see what China does over the next sort of 6, 12, 18 months, 2 years with their dollar holdings, whether they will start to reduce them. Of course, the other large holder of US Treasury bonds is Japan. I think they're the largest holder in the world. But of course, they are a friendly US nation. Many people say they're a sort of vassal of the US. But not only the central banks will be looking at this, because they will worry if that America turns hostile against them or they do something America doesn't like. They will have the exact same punishments applied to them. But not only that, I would also suspect there's probably a lot of wealthy businessmen. I would imagine, because China know they're in the firing line of the US, I would imagine there's also a lot of Chinese wealthy people who have dollar-denominated assets abroad, really rethinking their strategy. I would personally think that there will be quite a lot of funds sort of moved out of US dollars or maybe repatriated to China over the coming months and years. So that's sort of my take on it. I'd love to know what you think, so please let me know down in the comments. But as always, for now, take care.